After discovering my fiancé's affair, I made a decision that would change everything. I booked a wedding escape service. On the very day we were meant to promise each other forever, I planned to vanish, leave her at the altar, and with her, all the beauty we once shared. Victoria had no idea. She was still lost in her little fairy tale, passionately kissing her old flame, sneaking away to private screening rooms, even getting hot and heavy with him in his car. And when the guilt threatened to expose her, she covered it with lies, smooth and practiced. He's a client, a childhood friend, someone I'm just close with. I watched every move. My laughter had turned bitter by then, quiet, hollow. I slipped away the custom-designed ring I once made just for her, a ring she never knew I'd already given up on. And all the while, she floated through bridal boutiques, picking out her perfect dress, blind to what was coming. The day finally arrived. The escape agent pulled up on a roaring motorcycle, leather jacket catching the light. Without hesitation, I climbed on. No vows. No ceremony. No goodbye. I left her standing there in white, abandoned at the altar, gone like a supplier pulling out of a deal, without so much as a backward glance. And when Victoria realized I wasn't coming, her world collapsed. But this story had started long before the wedding day. I still remember the night I first heard her speaking Russian in the shower, a low, intimate voice slipping through the steam. She thought I couldn't understand. She thought it was safe. But she forgot one thing. The day we got together, I told her, if she ever betrayed me, I'd be gone forever. Still, she pushed her luck. Lying in bed next to me, whispering sweet Russian phrases into the phone for Leo Croft, her so-called childhood friend, who had returned from overseas. I kept quiet. I watched her games grow bolder. A video call from him would light up her phone, and with a fake yawn and a stretch, she'd take it into the bathroom, her excitement too loud to hide. My patience snapped. I picked up the phone and made the call that sealed her fate. The Carlton Hotel. Next Wednesday. Book the extraction service. I'll be the groom that disappears. But Victoria and Leo's affair only spiraled deeper. She slipped out at 2 a.m. under the pretense of a business trip, barely dressed, her perfume heavy with lies. My heart cracked every time I watched her leave, but I didn't stop her. I couldn't. Not anymore. Then came the phone call, the one that nearly destroyed me. A tabloid photographer, voice dripping with triumph. Mr. Vance, we have photos of your fiancé getting cozy with another man. Naked in his car. Just after your engagement announcement. $1 million to keep them quiet, or the world will see them. I hung up, but the evidence came anyway. Photo after photo. Video after video. Victoria and Leo's bodies tangled together, their betrayal carved into pixels I couldn't unsee. My stomach twisted, my head pounding, as if the walls themselves were closing in. I stumbled to get some water, but my hands shook. The glass tipped, the drawer slid open, and that's when I saw it. A wedding photo of Victoria and Leo. At first, I thought it was real. My heart stopped. But no, it was a fake marriage certificate, something she'd created herself. And on the back, in her lovesick handwriting, I've loved you since I was 18. Even if I can't marry you for real, I'm happy I could in my heart. Even after everything she'd done, the words cut me. My chest tightened, my eyes burned. Just then, the door swung open. It was 12:45 a.m. She reeked of alcohol and of him. The certificate trembled in my hands as I looked at her, and even in the dim light, I saw them. The marks on her neck, scattered like constellations across her skin. Proof she belonged to another man. For a long moment, I couldn't speak. My lips pressed into a bitter line. My silence said more than words ever could. When Victoria's eyes fell on the certificate in my hand, her face twisted with fury. "Sincere Vance, how dare you go through my things?" she shouted. But then, like the liar she was, her tone softened, sweetened. "It's just a joke. Leo was always playful like that. You know, he studied abroad. He's free-spirited, open-minded. He didn't think it was a big deal." I stood there, watching her weave her lies with ease. My expression gave nothing away, just a humorless smile that told her I saw right through it. She tried to move closer, tried to take my arm, flirting, giggling, desperate to reel me back in. But I pulled away, disgusted. Her mask slipped. She grew frustrated. You don't believe me, do you? Fine. I'll introduce you to Leo. Once you meet him, you'll see he's a great guy. He's even coming to our wedding to wish us well. And then, as if it were the final punchline of the cruelest joke, she said, Sincere, you and we're the ones who'll be happy together. For the long haul. But little did she know, that future had already ended. Victoria's eyes curved into crescents as she whispered those tender words, but my gaze wasn't on her smile. It was on the trail of hickeys scattered across her skin. The long haul? I thought bitterly. Too bad I was already done with her. That night, when she thought I was asleep, she picked up the phone and spoke in Russian again. Her voice was soft, dripping with affection. Baby, my fiancé found the fake marriage certificate I made. He's starting to suspect us. You have to help me convince him. Don't worry, after the wedding, you'll still be the one I love. You know how long I've chased you. And when you finally find someone else, someone you truly love, I'll leave him and go be the good wife he thinks I am. She even suggested the three of us have dinner together. Lying there beside her, listening to her weave this web of deceit, I clenched my fists so tightly I thought I might draw blood. The pain of being near her was suffocating. Finally, I stood. I have some work to finish, I said, my back to her, hiding the storm inside me. She barely noticed, just nodded, smiling faintly as she drifted off to sleep, still holding her phone, still whispering sweet nothings to Leo. Right in front of me. I looked at her one last time, let out a cold laugh, and tossed the diamond ring I had once chosen so carefully for her into the trash. Then I packed a few things, sat out on the balcony, and smoked until the sky turned pale with dawn. The next evening, Victoria dressed to kill. Every detail was for Leo's benefit, not mine. She dragged me to dinner, her tone bright and innocent. Sincere, this is my childhood friend, Leo Croft. I've told you so much about him. He studied in Russia, so don't be surprised if he slips into the language now and then. Leo gave me a provocative smile as he extended his hand. So, you're Victoria's fiancé? I didn't take it. I didn't even acknowledge him. He pouted dramatically and turned to her, spilling complaints in Russian, his eyes glued to hers. Vicky, your fiancé is uptight. I'm only trying to help, and he gives me the cold shoulder. Her heart softened for him instantly. She almost reached out to comfort him like he belonged to her. But then she caught my eyes, my warning stare, and she froze, pulling her hand back midair. Instead, she turned on me. Sincere, what's your problem? Leo is genuinely happy for us. Why are you acting like this? I almost let the truth fly right there. Almost ripped the mask off both of them. But then I remembered my plan for the wedding. So instead, I forced a hollow smile, briefly touched Leo's hand as if in peace, and swallowed it all down. Dinner dragged on. At one point, a breeze sent a napkin tumbling from my side of the table. When I bent to pick it up, the truth hit me again, harder than before. Underneath the table, Victoria was sliding her stiletto along Leo's calf, while his hand toyed shamelessly with her ankle. Above the table, they were calm, polished, the picture of civility. Below, they were fire and betrayal. I laughed inwardly, the sound bitter in my chest, and sat back up. She tilted her head toward me, her voice sweet but sharp. Sincere, I still haven't picked my wedding dress. I know you're busy, and Leo is free. So, why don't you let us go together? See? I'm so thoughtful. My jaw ached from holding back. I bit down hard on my back teeth and simply nodded. She beamed, tugged Leo to his feet, and left with him. While they paraded around bridal shops, high on their stolen love, I spent the evening packing my bags, burning our photos, and throwing out every trace of our life together. Her euphoria only grew. After choosing a dress with Leo, she called me, her voice light, commanding. Sincere, we're about to get married. You're smarter than me, more capable. I'll leave the wedding planning to you. I'm going to have one last bachelorette party with my girlfriends. Let me say goodbye to my youth, okay? I agreed hollowly. At 4 in the morning, she called again, her voice slurred with drink.
She wanted a ride.
I drove to the private room she was in, but when I reached the door, I froze. Laughter spilled out. Victoria, you're bold. Straight from Leo to here, and now you're calling Sincere? One of her friends teased. Her reply was smug, certain. Sincere is completely in love with me. Of course he's okay with it. If you don't say anything, who will? Another friend giggled. But he's so good to you. What if he finds out? That would be a disaster. Victoria's laughter faltered for a moment, but then she steadied herself. As long as you all keep my secret, Sincere will never know. The room erupted in laughter. I stood outside, hand on the handle, frozen. That was it. The truth was out. Everyone knew she was cheating, and I had been the only fool in the dark. A sad smile tugged at my lips. I turned away, sent her a single text. Sorry. The wedding is tomorrow, and I'm swamped.
Get a cab.
Her reply came after a long silence. Just one word, okay. The wedding day arrived. Half an hour before the ceremony, the planner came rushing up, frantic. Sincere, where's the bride? I looked down at my phone at that last message from her. I didn't know what game Victoria was playing now, but it didn't matter. This was never going to be a real wedding anyway. I'd rather let the woman from the escape service walk me down the aisle than her. Just as I pulled out my phone to make the call, Victoria appeared. Her cheeks were flushed, her dress slightly disheveled. And I saw them instantly, fresh hickeys scattered across her neck and collarbones, as clear as daylight. Sincere, I'm so sorry, she said breathlessly, her eyes shining with practiced tears. I had to fulfill a small personal wish. I know I'm late, but I made it back. We can be together now. Her words made me narrow my eyes. A small wish? I knew exactly what she meant. I remembered the line scrawled on that fake marriage certificate. Victoria Sterling must give her most precious self to Leo Croft before she marries. Only Leo is worthy of all of Victoria Sterling. And now, looking at the fresh marks on her skin, the rumpled wedding dress, I didn't need her to say another word. I already knew where she'd been and with whom. Still, she reached for me, her expression drenched in emotion, as if her performance could erase the truth. She clutched the microphone, her voice trembling as tears streaked down her cheeks. Sincere is the person who has been with me the longest. Whenever life was hard, he shielded me. I, Victoria Sterling, swear to love only Sincere Vance. He's been so good to me all these years, and from today forward, it's my turn to be good to him. Sincere, I'm about to marry you. I'm so excited. Sincere, will you marry me and be good to me for the rest of our lives? She was sobbing beautifully, every tear like a staged masterpiece, the microphone trembling as she held it to my lips. I opened my mouth to answer, when suddenly the screen behind us flickered. The sound of static filled the hall, and then an image. A man in a surgical mask, the tabloid photographer. He rose from the crowd, his eyes gleaming with vengeance as he shouted, "Time's up." He didn't buy the photos, so now the world will see them. And in an instant, the giant screen lit up with a slideshow of betrayal. Victoria and Leo, tangled in sheets, locked in cars, lips pressed, bodies moving. One image after another. The audience gasped. Whispers cut through the silence like knives. Victoria's delicate mask shattered. She turned pale, trembling, shaking her head violently. It's not real, Sincere. It's fake. Someone's sabotaging me. Who would do this to me? She lunged for me, desperate. But I only smiled. Cold. Unmoved. And into the microphone I gave her the only answer she would ever get. I don't. The doors burst open. A roar of an engine. A woman in a wedding dress strode in, helmet under her arm, a motorcycle growling behind her. Her voice rang out clear. Sincere Vance. I can't let you go. I heard you were marrying a liar. But instead of chaining yourself to her deceit, why not choose me again right now? Run away with me. I'll be good to you. Victoria collapsed, her legs giving way as shock twisted her face. Sincere. No. You wouldn't leave me, not like this. She clung to my arm, sobbing, begging. But I pried her fingers away, step by step. Without hesitation, I walked forward, climbed onto the motorcycle, and for the first time in months, a genuine smile spread across my face. Okay, I said. I choose you. The engine roared, the tires screeched, and the escape service delivered on its promise. The woman in the helmet, dressed as my bride, played the part of my rescuer flawlessly. The wind whipped against my face, the city blurred behind us, and in the distance, I caught sight of a black Mercedes giving chase. But my agent was relentless. She weaved through traffic, sharp turns, sudden swerves, until finally, the pursuit faded away, and we broke free into the open countryside. We stopped in a clearing, breathless. I slid off the bike, the adrenaline still thrumming in my veins. She pulled off her helmet, and my heart jolted. Chloe? I breathed. Chloe Summers? What are you doing here? She smirked, tilting her head, letting her hair fall loose. Why can't it be me? Who else would offer you a wedding escape service besides me? In that moment, everything clicked. The anonymous photos that had first revealed Victoria's affair. The digital business card that followed. Wedding escape services. Ditch the cheater. The spark that set this entire chain of events into motion. It had been Chloe all along. I rubbed my forehead, laughing bitterly. So, you did all this to get revenge on Victoria? But Chloe lifted her hand, her expression suddenly serious. Revenge? Sincere, you big idiot. Who said this was about her? Did it ever occur to you that maybe I couldn't stand watching you get destroyed by that woman? That maybe I've always liked you? That I've always loved you? And that's why I did all this? Her eyes were faintly red, her voice trembling with something raw and real. I was stunned into silence. The past rushed back like a tide, college days, when Chloe was broke, hungry, carrying the weight of an abusive stepfather. I had helped her then. She never forgot. Even as she built her own life, her own business, she always remembered me. Always sent me gifts. Always smiled, except once. When she begged me to leave Victoria. When she said, Sincere, she's a player. She'll chew you up and spit you out. Back then, I didn't listen. I chose Victoria. And Chloe walked away in tears, vowing never to contact me again. And now here she was years later. Right when her prophecy had come true. Right when I had been saved by her. Yet again. A laugh escaped me, soft, self-mocking. All right, Chloe. I get it. You were worried about your old friend. And I'm grateful, truly. You pulled me out of that mess. But as my words hung in the air, her eyes told me this wasn't just about gratitude. This was about something deeper. Something that had been waiting for years. She looked at me, her eyes steady, and said the kind of words that cut straight through the air. Word by word, I haven't dated. I haven't married. All these years, I've been waiting for you. For a moment, the world tilted. My chest tightened, heat rushing through my veins like I was about to combust. My fingers curled against the ground, digging into my palms, trying to anchor myself as her confession rang in my ears. And just when I thought I might break under the weight of it, her phone rang.
Work.
Reality pulling her back. She handled it quickly, then dropped me off at a nearby hotel, making sure I was checked in before leaving again. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling lights swimming above me. 7 years of love. Gone in a heartbeat. A wedding that had felt more like a fever dream than reality. My mind couldn't catch up. Then, knock, knock, knock. Not gentle. Not patient. Sharp. Relentless. The kind of knocking that doesn't wait for permission. I opened the door, and there she was.
Victoria.
Her hair was a mess, her eyes sunken, her face drawn with exhaustion. She rushed toward me, desperation pouring off her. Sincere, I finally found you. Those photos, those videos, they were fake. Think about it. We've been together for so many years. I was about to marry you. Why would I ever be so stupid as to cheat? Her hand reached for my arm, the same tired trick she'd always used. In the past, her tears, her trembling voice, would have melted me. But not anymore. This time, I stepped back, folded my arms, and let the distance grow. Victoria, I said evenly, this is a misunderstanding. But not the one you think. The truth is, I've abandoned you. Her lip trembled, her voice breaking as she played the victim. Do you know how humiliated I was when you walked out? How people laughed at me. Sincere, you owe me an apology. Her shamelessness made my head ache. I'd had enough. So I tore the mask off her lies. Victoria, you're still lying to me. Did you forget? I understand Russian. I always have. Every word you whispered to Leo, every so-called business talk, every flirtation, I understood it all. Her body went rigid. Her face flushed, caught between fear and fury. But she was nothing if not adaptable. She forced a smile, then dropped to her knees, slapping her own face again and again. I was out of my mind. It was a moment of weakness. Please forgive me. You know my position isn't low. These things happen. It's just playing around. But you're the one I want for life. My perfect match. I stared coldly, unmoved. Beautiful words. But you already told me the truth once. That you'd only be good to me after Leo found someone he truly loved. Too bad for you, Victoria. I have no intention of playing that hand. Go live your life with him. I moved to show her the door, but she clung harder, still begging, still crying. I'd had enough. I called security. And then Chloe walked in. Victoria froze. Her eyes darted between us, recognition dawning. Her lips curled with disdain as she pointed at Chloe. Her? She's not taller than me, not prettier than me. She was a nobody in college, with terrible grades. Do you think she's doing better now? Sincere, don't ruin your future for someone like her. Come back to me. We can start over, marry again, be a happy family. She tried to reach for my hand, but Chloe stepped forward. Her brow arched, her tone sharp. Pathetic. Which one of your eyes sees me as not doing well? At her quiet command, security gathered instantly at the door. Miss Summers, your orders? The head guard asked, bowing. Victoria's face twisted in disbelief as Chloe's smile turned cool. Escort this uninvited guest out. And while you're at it, investigate how she found my fiancé's location. Her words landed like thunder. And when she turned to me, she extended her hand without hesitation. I didn't think. I just reached out, gripping it tightly. Victoria's eyes turned red as she was dragged away, too late for another plea. And then, just like that, the room was quiet again. Chloe glanced down at our joined hands, her cheeks faintly pink, her voice suddenly soft. Victoria's gone. You don't have to keep holding my hand just to spite her. I looked at her, and a mischievous smile tugged at my lips. Oh, okay then. I'll let go. For a second, disappointment flickered across her face. She nodded, forcing herself to play it cool, and began to turn away. But I tightened my grip, tugging her back to me. My voice low, teasing but earnest. I wasn't holding your hand for her. Chloe froze, her eyes wide, her breath caught. And in that moment I knew this wasn't about spite. This was about us. Her words hit me like a spark in the dark. Sincere, you mean you? The shock on Chloe's face was almost childlike, unexpectedly adorable. I couldn't help but laugh, my chest light for the first time in what felt like years. Thank you for protecting me again and again, for waiting all this time. But I didn't even get to finish. Chloe's cheeks had gone crimson, so red it looked like steam might rise from her skin. She yanked her hand away, flustered, stumbling toward the door. Sincere, I get it, I'm so happy. I think my heart's about to explode. I need to calm down. Next time, okay? And before I could say another word, she was gone, leaving only the echo of her voice in the room. But peace never lasted long. The very next day, Victoria reappeared, this time at the front of my company, armed with a trunk full of roses and a spectacle designed to turn heads. She stood there trembling, crying, the perfect picture of devotion. Around her, people whispered in awe. Look at her, so in love. Those roses must have cost a fortune. She's begging him to marry her again. How romantic. They didn't know the truth. They only saw a lovesick woman fighting for her man. I walked toward her, my face unreadable. Don't waste your time, Victoria. There's no future for us. But she wasn't finished with her act. With trembling hands, she pulled out a ring and dropped to one knee right there in front of everyone. Her voice cracked, but her eyes were steady, full of false sincerity. Sincere Vance, marry me.
Come back to me.
I love you. The crowd erupted, chanting for us to reconcile. To them, this was a fairy tale moment. To me, it was nothing but theater. I narrowed my eyes. You remember my promise to protect you. But you forgot the other part. I told you if you ever betrayed me, I'd leave forever. Her lip trembled. She looked pitiful, ready to cling. But then Chloe appeared. She slipped through the crowd carrying a small cake, only to stop cold at the sight. And without hesitation, she slid her arm through mine. Honey, why is this homewrecker here again? The one with the side fling. Her voice was sharp, but her smile was sweet. Then she turned to the crowd, loud enough for every whispering mouth to hear. Oh, I get it. The other guy tossed her aside. So now she's crawling back, willing to wreck a marriage just to get security. I wrapped my arm around Chloe's shoulder, pulling her close, and nodded with mock distress. Yeah, pretty much. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Victoria's face darkened, hatred twisting her features. And then, right on cue, her phone rang. It was Leo. His voice was cold, dismissive, like he was ordering takeout. Victoria, my mom's nagging me to bring home a girlfriend. You love me, don't you? Sincere's not coming back. Do me a favor and come over. Before she could even answer, he hung up. Her face drained of color, shame fighting with desperation. Sincere, I haven't contacted him since the wedding. I swear. I waved her off, my patience gone. It's fine. Your promises in Russian said it all. You'll always love Leo until he finds someone else. So stop pretending you can't live without me. Go be with him. I turned to leave with Chloe. But behind me came the sound of flesh hitting metal. Victoria hurled herself against the trunk of her car, her forehead slamming with a sickening thud. Blood streamed instantly down her face as she cried out, Fine. If you don't believe I love you, then what's the point of living? I might as well die. The crowd shrieked. Chaos erupted. She collapsed in a heap, reaching out for me even as her body gave way. Sincere, you love me. You'll come back. You will. Helpless, Chloe and I exchanged a look. We couldn't let her die, not like this. We rushed her to the hospital, where she clung to the corner of my jacket like a lifeline, refusing to let go. The doctor finally confirmed she wasn't in any real danger. Relief washed over me, heavy but fleeting. Chloe and I turned to leave. And that's when Victoria appeared again, weak, pale, but triumphant. She leaned against the wall, clutching a medical report in her trembling hand. Her eyes brimmed with tears as she looked straight at me. Sincere, she cried, her voice cracking but loud enough to stop us in our tracks. I'm pregnant. With your child. The words hung in the air like a blade. She stroked her belly, her lips curving into a shaky, almost joyful smile. A soft laugh escaped her as if she'd won. And in that moment, pain rippled through me like fire. The words, I'm pregnant with your child, hit like a gunshot to the chest. For a moment, everything around me blurred. My temples throbbed, my pulse roared. Beside me, Chloe went rigid, her fingers turning cold in mine. She tried to be strong, forcing a smile, but her trembling lips betrayed her. Her voice cracked as she whispered, Sincere, you're the father, aren't you? Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I shouldn't have hoped. I guess you have to go back to her. The air thickened, heavy with suffocating silence. Watching Chloe's brave little smile, the one hiding her heartbreak, lit a fire inside me. And suddenly, Victoria's smugness wasn't just insulting. It was unbearable. I crossed my arms, my voice steady but sharp. Are you sure the baby is mine? Her face lifted with confidence. Of course she was sure. She mentioned that night, the 4th week, Friday. Her eyes gleamed with triumph. She thought she had me cornered, but I raised a hand, cutting her off mid-sentence. Stop. Think carefully. Who was actually with you that night? Her confidence wavered. I didn't let her speak. We didn't sleep together. You were drunk. Yes, you stripped down, but your body was already covered in Leo's marks. You called his name in your sleep. Did you really think I'd force myself on you all disgusted? I walked out. I spent the whole night at the office. With witnesses. The color drained from her face. The triumph froze, shattered. She looked like the ground had given way beneath her feet. I shrugged, my patience gone. Victoria, get your act together. Stop chasing me. I already have someone I love. And the bride will never be you. And then I pulled Chloe close where she belonged. She melted into my arms, her relief breaking through like sunlight after a storm. Behind us, Victoria collapsed, sobbing like a woman whose world had crumbled. But as Chloe and I stepped into the bright spring air outside, the weight finally lifted. She looked up at me, hope trembling in her eyes. So, you're sure? You love me too. Her voice was soft, almost childlike, as if she feared the answer. My chest warmed at the sight of her, her eyes shining like a little bear looking for reassurance. I smiled, patted her head gently. I'm sure. I love you. Very, very much. From that day, I drew a line in the sand. Victoria tried again, but I didn't answer. Her mother called endlessly, her pleas circling back to the same excuse. Victoria was young, confused, foolish. It was Leo's fault. They begged me to forgive, to forget, to go back. I blocked every number, every account, every path back into my life. Even when they sent friends to plead on her behalf, I didn't flinch. I handed Michael, our old classmate, a wedding invitation instead. I'm marrying Chloe. We're going to Northern Ireland. 3 months of honeymoon. Just happiness. If you want to come, come. If not, that's fine too. Michael sighed, but he smiled at us, said we were perfect together. And I knew he'd run straight to Victoria with the news. They said she broke down. That one night, drowning in her despair, she drowned herself. But that wasn't my story anymore. Because my story, the only story that mattered, was the one where Chloe's hand was in mine, the sunlight on our faces, and the road ahead stretched wide and endless. We walked forward. Into love. Into peace. Into our own beautiful life. The end.